I'm building a jointer and I'm at the point now where I've been using it basically just to test it out. And I'm not embarrassed to admit that it is a little bit intimidating using this as it is. I can't say there's an outright fear that I have, but I do know what these things can do if you're not paying attention. Back when I was an apprentice carpenter, the journeyman that I was working with was a Danish guy, and the little finger on his right hand was missing right up to the second knuckle. And I asked him, of course, what happened to his finger, because, you know, you're becoming a carpenter. You want to know the dangers and the risks involved. And for me, losing a finger is one of those things that I definitely don't want to do. And he said he used to work in a cabinet shop back in Denmark, and it was his job to flatten the wider stock on the big jointer that they had there. And this one board, he just had his finger draping over the edge, not even thinking about it, and ran the board through the jointer, and it clipped off 2/3 of his finger before he even realized it. So what I want to do in this video is make a pair of push pads so that there won't be any chance of my little finger draping down over the board and getting trimmed off in that cutter head. And as you can see, I'm going to be using plywood for this. I'm going to use 1/2 inch for the base, and I'm going to use 3/4 inch for the handles. And I've cut the base to the size that I could get out of that scrap of plywood that I found in my cabinet. And I'm just going to use my hand as a model for drawing out the handle to get it the right width and depth and all that. And then after I'm finished laying that out, I can bring it over to the bandsaw and cut it out. And then I'm going to use this first one that I've cut out to draw out the second one, because I want 2 push pads. And then after I have both of those cut out, I can bring them over to my router table and round over the edges to make them a little bit more comfortable to hold. And then because this is plywood and it will split easily if I drove a screw up into it, I'm actually going to mortise the handles directly into the base so that they can be solidly glued in there, and I won't have to use any screws or other metal fasteners. And then the last step is to put some grippy material on the bottom. I bought a roll of this thin rubber stuff a couple of years ago for another reason, and I think it'd be perfect for this. I'll just use some spray adhesive to stick that on there, and then trim off the excess sticking out around the edge, and then they're ready to use.